Hello and welcome to Just Like Me. I'm here with the beautiful Janie this morning. Thank you so much for being with us. You've had a good week this week.
I have. I've had a wonderful week.
Yeah, you want to tell everybody a little bit more about your good news?
Um, I am 2.5 years past breast cancer, and it seems like the magical mark you always hear about, the milestone, is 5 years. So that puts me halfway
Yes.
to the goal of being breast cancer free. And I had my mammogram this week, and they said it looks good. Come back in a year.
Yay! That's fantastic. I
Yeah.
was I was thinking because I knew you were going on Monday and I thought, "Oh, I was thinking, but oh, that's going to just put you in the waiting game because here in Canada, when you go, they don't give you any information. But that's great in the U.S. They tell you right away.
Yeah, well, because I have breast cancer, they do diagnostic. It's not a screening.
Mm,
And so because of that, they read them right away. So if they need to do further tests, they do it immediately. So you don't get called back. Like you don't go home and have to go back.
yeah, that's so great because that waiting game is just
Right.
that's just awful. I know people that's just anxiety producing and
So,
terrible.
yeah. So I felt confident going in. I feel good. My tests from the oncologist come back good. So I can honestly say I wasn't worried.
Yeah, that's great. So we've kind of jumped ahead a little bit, but it's, as part of your day and part of your week. I wanted to share. It's great to start with good news too.
And that's one of my favorite parts of the membership site is the happiest moment.
That's everybody. Everybody loves that part. Yeah. So do you want to start right there then? We'll just jump right on in and then we can backtrack after that. But yeah, let's show everybody that spot because that is a really great spot. Let me share my screen. So Danny's talking about happiest moment of the day, and we put it in a really prominent spot in the daily practice section right here. And people post their all the good news, and it's not necessarily related to yoga, but it's a very uplifting. Oh, look at this photo that Hannah posted of her garden.
Yes, I saw that. Isn't that beautiful?
It is beautiful. I haven't been in this section yet today because it's first thing in the morning for me still.
Yeah.
And these are just some of the most uplifting parts of our membership site. So yeah, it's the end of the day in Europe, so Hannah may have posted that much earlier in the day. Um, I wanted to just scroll through. Yeah, this picture of Fiona made me really happy of her out enjoying a walk in the forest. That was a really beautiful one. And then there's another photo in here that has me green with envy. This one, Erica and Alice meeting up in, I don't know where they met, but maybe in Brighton. I expect in Brighton where Erica lives, while Alice is in London visiting her mom right now. So these local meetups are making me very envious right now.
Well,
Yes. So, yeah, this is a great section that is very uplifting, for sure.
yeah, even if you're having a bad day yourself, you can go there and read other people's good news, and it just makes you so happy.
It's true, and they're always very simple things too. They never seem to be things that cost a lot of money, or they're not usually like, "Oh, I went on this huge vacation," and you know, they're not like mountain peak moments. They're simple moments. Yeah. Yeah, they're fantastic. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to yoga and Namaste yoga, maybe, and then how you found your way to the membership site too?
Well, it's been a long journey. I've probably been trying to do yoga for at least 10 years, if not longer. And I have never been flexible, never been interested. I would exercise because it was good for me, but never enjoyed it. I was really interested in yoga, but and that was before we even had internet. So it was a matter of books or videos. And although they would say beginner, apparently I'm like beginner, beginner, beginner. And I would get frustrated or hurt myself, and I would give up. But I just had such a drive to learn it and just kept trying. And then finally, we eventually got the internet, and I was just did a Google search for beginner yoga, and your Namaste yoga showed up.
Yay! A real beginner class.
I remember running into the other room and telling my husband, I think I actually found yoga I can do. This is amazing. Mm-hmm. And so I started there. And some of the older Namaste videos, for some reason, won't play on my computer. I'm not sure why. But I saw about the membership and really wanted to join, but I was concerned, would I be able to view them because of that? And I emailed him, and he gave me like a trial membership so that I could try it and make sure, and it worked beautifully.
Nice.
So I joined in, I think that was 2013. Yeah. And the first year, it was like September, I was barely on there. I would go a little bit and do videos now and then, but that was at the point my dad his health started declining rapidly, and I was taking care of him, and I just didn't have time. Mm-hmm. But the times that I would have a little free time, I would at least watch, even if I couldn't do it. And then after he passed away, then in 2014, I was able to get active in the group. And the more I did it, the more willing I was to become more active and share messages on the site. Before, I just felt like I didn't have anything to contribute. But as I read the messages, I felt more confident and like I fit in, because everybody fits in.
Yep. Everybody has something to say, and it is valuable to hear everybody's different perspective, and people do bring different and unique perspectives, and I enjoy hearing everybody's perspective and what they're practicing and what they're bringing. And I have so many questions I want to ask you, and okay, so because I've learned so much from you, and I feel like I have so much more to learn from you, and it's because you post, and when you start to allow yourself to have the courage to be vulnerable, it allows me to learn more about you. And then that's when the people that are posting the content gets tailor-made for you guys, because I'm learning from you the most. So okay, you spoke about your husband at the beginning. You mention him often. So it sounds like you guys have such a great relationship. Tell us more about him and your relationship, because he sounds really sweet, and I know you're really sweet. And tell us a little bit more about how your marriage and the way you two relate to each other.
Well, we'll be married in August. It'll be 29 years. And we met at a singles Bible study at his church, which was like an hour drive for me to go to that. So we dated for a year, and we were engaged for like 9 months. And we have we've been married almost 29 years. We have a son who will be 23. And have you still got me?
I can hear you. I think your internet's slow, so it just turned off your video. So we can hear you, so that's great.
Okay.
I just put the screen on the membership site. So
Okay. Yeah, we live in an extraordinarily small rural town, so we do have a very slow internet.
that's okay. As long as we can hear you, that's the main thing.
He's my best friend. Uh,
Oh,
he he retired. Let's see, I think it's going to be 5 years ago. And it just happened at the time he retired. Our world completely changed. All four of our parents were sick and getting old, and we had to assist them. And then I got cancer, and so it was just really. He would say, "Oh gosh, maybe I shouldn't have retired." Like that triggered all this, which and
thank
I want
goodness he was retired.
thank goodness because he was here to assist, and he's just very supportive. I don't know how many times I've told him, "Oh, I just love yoga," and he just always says, "I'm just really happy you found what you love." And he honors my time when I'm doing yoga. He makes sure he's quiet and stays out of the room. I've taken over our living room. I now call my yoga studio. And my husband informed my son when he came back home from college, that's your mom's yoga studio. So you need to, if you want to go in there and watch TV, you really need to ask her if it's okay, because she may have a practice planned.
Wow. He
So
sounds so respectful.
he is very respectful. Yeah. So actually, a few weeks ago, he told me he was thinking about trying yoga. And
Mm.
I thought that was just really neat. He was a bodybuilder and ran a health club for a few years.
Hmm.
So he's never shown any interest in yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really neat. And I will say he's been using my foam roller every
Yeah.
day. So I thought that was fun.
Well, I think it's kind of interesting. I mean, maybe he was using it before, but it was in response to you, I think, that he started using it, right? Is that
Yes,
right? Yeah.
I had used it because of the cancer and I have fibromyalgia. I had done too much the first time and injured myself. And he said, "Well, let me try it." And his idea of trying it was to help me
Yeah.
and to figure out how I could use it. He ended up loving it.
Yeah. It was
He
in
shared.
support of you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm filming something this week for the postures and pranayama section with the roller. And then my next video that I'm going to film is going to be like an FAQ on all the fascia stuff and the foam roller. And so you really didn't injure yourself. What you had was because and I'm so glad you asked about it because it really led me to explore more and research more about that. But what you had was a healing, um, some people would call it like a healing crisis, but you had like a healing response to
Right.
what happened. So uh, what happened was when you do the foam rolling, it allows your cells to release toxins more easily, but also to receive nutrients more. So it opens up the communication system of your fascia. And if there's toxins being held, and then they're going to be released. And so what can happen when you're starting it, especially if you are on medications like myself, I take medications every day to prevent migraines, or yourself, you are on a strong medication to over a 5-year period because of the breast cancer, right?
Right.
Yeah, then it can release a flood of toxins into your system, and then there's that a lot of pain in your body, and so that can be a really normal response. And so for people like myself, like yourself, and people that like have fibromyalgia, that have chronic fatigue, that are on medications, there needs to be a protocol for going forward. And so because you brought that forward, we were able to really start to outline that protocol more. And I'm going to be going into that even in more detail in a specific video, I think, as well. Yeah, so that was good. But it was really cool how I really saw how your husband comes in and really supports you as well through that. That was a really beautiful thing.
Yeah, we've always worked together. We're a team.
Yeah.
We're there for each other.
And then another thing that you brought up that really interests me, and I think will interest several other people in our membership community, is your strong Christian faith and how you merge the two. And I love when you speak about it in the membership community, because some people find it more challenging to marry the two. And so sometimes I'll bring in archetypes from Hindu mythology. And I just love it when you are able to layer on stories from Christian faith, because I think it's beautiful, and I'm really glad that you do. Do you want to speak to that at all?
Actually, it has come very easy for me because you share the stories. It just automatically comes to my mind, because it's so similar, to maybe passages I read in the Bible, and I can totally relate and apply that for myself.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you do. And I think, all paths, or they say all rivers or all waters lead to the ocean. And so I think absolutely we can do that. And that is part of what we can do in our community too, is bring all those different points of view in. So
that's what I love about it. We're all free. We're just who we are, and we're all welcome. We're all real people and open to share our lives.
Yeah, I love that too. Yeah. So that's great, and I really appreciate that you do that. So that was another thing that I really wanted to make sure that we spoke about today. So in the membership site, you already mentioned you love Happiest Moment of the Day. Where else can we find you when you're there? What are some other of your favorite places?
I love Ivy's devotionals.
Yes. Yes.
I don't want to comment on them, but I always watch them. I've been trying to more purposely make the times I can comment, because it's so much richer when you can interact.
Yeah. So great. The most recent one is one I would imagine she's going to continue with this a little bit, but she put together a companion video for the Inner Critic series, because this week I think things are going to shift a little bit, but it's pretty intense, the inner journey and the kind of transformation.
It really is.
Yeah, and you guys are all smarty pants. You're starting to see the way through the dark night of the soul already, but we're halfway through this week. I just filmed yesterday, and we're halfway through this week, and first you have to kind of go through. You have to go down and in first before you can come up and out. But so Ivy filmed some support for that there, which I thought was great. Do you have a favorite one in this section that you really liked? Or?
I like them all. It's hard to pick a favorite. The current one I do, I love this one, and then the next one comes, and then I love that one. So.
Great. Yeah, that's a great section. And yeah, Ivy she's fantastic. She posts every other week. She posts a devotional, and she's really great at plugging into where the community's at and what their needs are, and then she responds really beautifully to that.
Yeah,
So
I like that too because she's paying attention to what we're talking about and tying it all in.
she really does. She really does that quite beautifully. So the devotional section. Um, anything else?
I really like the is it today's practice? I think that's the name.
Yeah, yeah.
Where you
In
your practice of the day. That's always inspiring to me, and it can also point me to videos that I haven't found yet. So I really like that.
I really like this section too. Yeah, just yesterday I was reading Jane's post about she was doing one of the Hanuman classes, and it was just what I needed to hear, her post, and it made me, I put that down. I'm going to practice that one this weekend when I'm not busy getting Trini ready for school in the morning, and I have an hour to practice yoga. But yeah, it's true. You do find you hear about other people's practice, and then you get inspired to go do something, don't you?
Yes, definitely.
Why don't you speak about, because I've seen you go off and do a series because of that. Why don't you speak about something you've been inspired to do because of today's practice thread?
Yeah, I think the most recent, well, I'm not sure it was on there. I did the chakra series, but that may have been Ivy that mentioned it, I think, in the devotions.
It may have been. It seemed like it was everywhere then, though, at that time.
Yes, but I take that as a sign that I need to be doing it.
Yeah.
So I loved that.
Now,
That brought a lot of emotions for me, that series. Um,
when was the one on the membership site here?
yes, yeah.
So that was in the short video section. Then this is the first, just like me, interview we've done since we've changed the site a little bit. So if you go into the short video section, and this was one of the first series we did of shorter classes. And if you scroll to the bottom, yeah, there they are, the daily chakra videos. And the nice thing about this is that it's laid out so you can do one every day of the week. Is that how you did it? Hi.
Hi.
That was mine this time. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Let me find my. Okay, your internet's back. Mine's poopy. I'm still recording. Okay. Nice.
Just share the challenges.
Okay. Um, did you hear where I stopped talking to you?
You were looking ended right when you were looking for the short video section.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go back to there.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I spent a lot of time in the short video section.
Great. Okay, so let's. Yeah, my video is going to be off now because I'm on slow internet. Let me go back to the main forum, then we'll pick up from there. Okay, so. All right, we're back. My internet went down, and now Janice is back working.
I see it now. I see the membership page.
Great. So what I was saying was since the last Just Like Me interview, we changed the membership site so that it's way less scrolling for you. So now you just click on the short videos off the main page. And Janie was just telling me she spends a lot of time here. And they're great for weekdays. I mean, this is where I spend my time in the weekdays too, because you have to get your kids off to school or get off to work. You have less time for your practice on the weekdays.
Yeah,
Or
I'll usually start there thinking I don't know how much time I have today, and so I'll do a short video, and then if I have time later in the day, then I can do more. But at least, I've got that done.
you
So,
got it in, yeah.
right. Yeah.
Okay, so the daily videos for the chakras are here, and these all had to do the focus of them was your right in each chakra, like your right to be here, or your right to feel, your right to take action, your right to love and be loved. So it was a little different focus because I feel like there are so many chakra videos. So what was the point in doing another series? That was the point of that one.
Yes, and I really like that because I can struggle with self-esteem issues, and the focus on having the rights to those things was very helpful for me.
I like how you put that because people often ask me about self-esteem, and so that's really great to think about this series as connected with self-esteem because you're right. Thinking about your freedom of expression, your rights is a good way to connect it to
Their
self-esteem.
value. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you have a strong sense of value, then you're more likely to understand your right in each chakra as well, for sure.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So did you do it each day of the week? Is that how you did it? Did you
Um,
break it up like that?
yeah, I do think I did two in a row at the end because
Hmm.
I was too excited to wait for the next day. I wanted to do the next one. So, yeah.
Those two work well together too, because I think the sixth one is like a meditation, and then the seventh one is might be a
Yeah.
shavasana or something. So there's not a lot of yoga in the last two. Like asana, they're more meditative.
Right, right. And it was really wonderful for me because I'm not familiar with the chakras. And I do go to a Reiki practitioner. She's a friend of mine who does Reiki on me as a gift. And so she'll talk about, I'm working on this chakra or that. So that was really helpful for me. I have a better understanding when I see her.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And and I think, did you say something about her commenting on them afterwards? Did she notice a difference after you did this series?
No, I haven't seen her since I've done this series.
Yeah,
So
that'll be interesting.
tell her. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I had students when I used to teach in-person classes, we would do a chakra class or something, and then they would go and have some kind of body work done or Reiki or something, and the person would be like, "Whoa, how come all your chakras are wide open and full as the rainbow? What's happening?" So to me, I don't know why, but it would always surprise me that the effect was that immediate, or but of course, right? Why not? What are some other favorite videos of yours on the
I
membership?
did I kind of focused on the areas of my body I'm really struggling with. I have a lot of side effects from the breast cancer drug. So a lot of joint and muscle pain. So wherever I'm hurting that day, I'll kind of focus on that. So I've done the shoulder shorts.
Hmm.
Those were wonderful. And I've done the hippie shorts. I liked those too.
So let's show shoulder shorts. These are great, and the nice thing about them is that there are some that are super short. We should put the times in for those. Let me add that to my list so that you can see the times right off this page. Um, yeah, the nice thing about them is, well, that one's like a 30-minute one, but you can probably tell me better. There's some in here that are probably only 10 minutes long. Is that true?
um,
That one's 20.
I was thinking yeah, there may have been some shorter than that. But
Yeah,
I think I've averaged like 20.
they're more around 20 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
The cool thing about this series is my focus really in this series was, okay, we are a culture of where we do these really fine motor movements, so with our mouse or our cell phones and things. And what that does is it actually seizes up your shoulders. And the way to counter that is with big range of motion movements through your shoulders. And so that's really what this series focused on.
Yeah, and I have a lot of trouble with my shoulders. I've had frozen shoulder
Yeah.
past, so I can certainly sympathize with what you're going through.
Yeah.
And then having had a mastectomy, that does affect your range of motion on that side. So those helped me more than the physical therapy I was taught.
Wow.
Wow.
And I imagine once you get your range of motion back in your shoulder after having frozen shoulder, you want to keep that.
Right.
That's probably pretty big on your priority list.
I don't want to be discouraging. It's not completely back like it was before, but it is pretty close, and I'm so grateful.
I hear that. I've heard that a lot too.
Yeah.
And hippie shorts. This is just a super fun series. These are great to do together. The hippie shorts and the shoulder shorts.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because of the cross pattern in your body. So let's see if my video camera works again right now. Because I can actually show you. Oh, it will. Let's stop sharing the screen and I can show you in my body. If I back up and turn my video camera on. There I am. Okay, so if you look in your body, and that's as far as my cord will let me go, but you have like this X here in your body. And this is the cross pattern. So in the can you hear me? I probably need to speak up. Okay. Okay, good. So in postures and pranayama, we've been doing a lot of brain yoga and neuroplasticity stuff, and a lot of that is based on this cross pattern and getting this X stronger. So when you think about walking,
Mm-hmm.
it's this X that see how there's this correlation that happens? Yeah. So the stronger we can get that cross pattern happening, the better. So if you're wanting to combine classes and you want to combining the shoulder shorts and the hippie shorts is really great because hip, shoulder, you're making that X connection stronger. So it's really good for your brain too.
Yeah, great.
So people do that intuitively all over the place. They combine those two, and there's a reason for that. It's your brain. So you're making those neural connections across between the two hemispheres. So that's great. Yeah, those are good ones to do together.
And you've probably seen I share a lot. I do the chair yoga a lot on my really rough days.
Yeah.
It's such a huge blessing.
I'm glad you brought that up because we moved that. Because it's a short class, we put it in the short section. And it's a great class.
It is a wonderful class.
It's got a lot of, you probably like it because it's got, I designed it with kind of two populations in mind, and one was the population that hunches over their desk a lot because I was called in to do I don't know, a special event for people in an office. And so I was thinking about them, and they're like this all day in a chair, but what can they do while they're in the chair? And I wanted to really open them up. And so there's probably a lot in there that you find really helps you in here.
Absolutely. For me, one of the best is like the cat pose where you're in the chair and you can just really stretch back. That has been, and I do that every day. Just do it on my own, just that. I noticed like I didn't do it because it wasn't in the videos maybe I was doing at the time, and I definitely noticed a huge difference. So I made it a part of my daily practice.
Nice.
I do that to keep it stretched out.
Yeah. And that's a really great thing too, is when you find those things in a video that really work for you, that you can pull them out and just make them part of your daily practice.
Absolutely. And then learning how to use the chair so that if I'm doing another video that's not chair yoga, I can instinctively know how to incorporate the chair. I always have my chair there ready that I can use it. So.
And that is really, that is so, I love that. And it's definitely something, I mean, this is on my list to do more chair yoga classes. But whenever you say that, it reminds me to make sure that I put chair yoga options in the posture and pranayama section when possible too.
Exciting that I'm learning so much from you and that I can instinctively know how to make adjustments. You've given me such gifts. I think of them as little gold nuggets, that just little things you'll say in videos, like no right, no wrong, no better, no best. You're your own best teacher. Those have been, I know I could start crying just thinking about them. It seems small, but that's huge.
They are huge. If you only took those things away, I would be super happy.
Yeah, and not even just in yoga, in life. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That is amazing, because ultimately I want you to be self-sufficient. You know, I want you to be able to make your own decisions on the mat. I don't want you following me, you know, like Simon Says. I need you to be able to make your own decisions on the mat. And that's why, you know, the way that I teach, there aren't a huge number of alignment cues and stuff, because I need you to start to be able to make your own decisions about those things, about how to keep your own self safe in your body. And, you know, we do that right from the beginning in beginner classes, with telling them, even in a more upfront way, okay, your job, first of all, is to go to your doctor and make sure you know what you're doing and not supposed to be doing on this mat, because, you know, you're in charge of your own body. And I think that it's a style, and there are different styles, but I think that, you know, when you start to give so many cues to people about what to do, then I've been in classes like that, and then I stop listening to what's happening in my body, and I follow the teacher implicitly every step of the way, and inevitably I hurt myself.
Absolutely. And you make that point so well, like with forward fold, and you explain like how your structure is different, and this is as far as you fold forward. That has taught me to pay attention to my own body. I'm not doing it wrong.
Yeah.
It's that is how my body is built and designed, and it's perfect just the way it is.
Yeah. I know, in preparing for one of the and I'm trying not to give it away, because we are having so much fun on that postures and pranayama thread. When I take a picture and you have to guess.
Yeah.
But for the one that I'll be filming, it has something to do with flexion, okay? And so when I'm doing like the prep things with the roller and stuff, I can feel it's making a huge difference in my muscle. Like my muscle feels better, it feels different. But when I do the shape again, there's no difference in the shape. And I'm like, you know, that's just my body.
That's perfect.
That's right. And I think that's where, as yogis, we can, you know, that's where the asana is not the most important thing, right? Because if I was just hell-bent on this asana, then it would be game over or something, right? I would have given up.
Yeah, that's what I struggled with for 10 years, is that I didn't have a teacher like you, and I kept thinking I was doing something wrong, and I would just get frustrated and give up. So
Yeah, but when we can bring awareness to the other aspects of what's happening, like I can actually, wow, I can feel that, I can actually sense that the muscles are getting softer and hydration, and it feels better when I stand up now. When I come back to my standing desk, things feel different in my body. Yes, something's happening. It's not what I thought was going to happen, but something's happening.
Something you say too that helps me, you say, do this until you feel something. And that's how you know you're doing it right in your own body, when you're feeling something happening.
Yeah.
So,
And that something might be physical, but it might also, like in a series like we're doing right now, it might be an emotional edge, it might be a mental edge, like it can be, or it could be like a spiritual realization. All of a sudden, something, the heavens open up and the light comes down. Right? We've had that. We've all had that happen in yoga too,
yeah.
right? All of a sudden, this big epiphany happens. So something can be physical, can be in the shape, but it can be lots of other things too. And
I think it's because we're quiet in that moment. We're focused. We're not distracted around us. That we're more open to those teachings.
yeah, I agree. We take that time and we're tuned in, and yeah, there's not so many distractions. I agree completely. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to share? Is there anything else that you're dying to share, or?
Um, Something that has been real helpful to me too, and it was something you shared that your daughter said when a fellow classmate was looking at her paper and commented on her writing more than she was supposed to, and she said, like my mom says, keep your eyes on your own mat.
Yeah.
And that really helped me in not comparing myself against myself, because there's days where I'm more at ease and I can do a little bit more, and then I have days where I'm really stiff and it doesn't come easy, and I could find myself judging myself. And you sharing that really helped me to just accept where I am at the moment. Yeah, keep my eyes on my own mat, not compare myself even to my mat yesterday.
That is so rich, especially because you took it to that deeper level of not comparing yourself to yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Because every day we're different. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That was Sue Medeiros, who was one of our open-hearted graduates that I learned that one from. And yeah, Trinity landed that one of her friends. And Tim and I do it all the time. We'll be discussing this, that, or the other person and solving all their problems. And then all of a sudden we'll stop ourselves. We'll say, oh, geez, there we go. Eyes on our own yoga mat. Like we don't have enough of our own problems to
Right.
solve. But it is a really good one, especially I think the way you bring it to your yoga mat, because I think when we have a long-term practice, it is challenging day to day to come up against the same things, to come and sit in meditation and come up against anxiety day in and day out, or to come to the mat and to come to the same issues day in and day out, physically in your body, and that is part of the practice.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's something new too, is meditation for me. That's something, I was in a 12-step recovery program, and that was part of it, and I just never could, never could get that. But I'd say like I've been consistent the last 2 months, and it's small, but it's so helpful.
And do you follow along in the group here? The
I have
meditation?
not. That is a goal of mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's on my list
Yeah.
to eventually, and I do go in there sometimes and read the comments, the meditation, and then the comments. But I haven't, done it yet. So,
And then there is also, have you done the Introduction to Meditation series here?
no, I haven't.
So I'll
Uh,
just show you that too. In the short video section, there's a series. Let's see. I think it's down at the bottom. Yeah, an Introduction to Meditation series too, for people who want to get started. So you're doing your own thing, or are you following some of the guided ones on the community playlist?
Actually, right now I'm reading a book called Peaceful Weight Loss Through Yoga, and it's a meditation he had in there, and
Nice,
so that's what I'm beginning with. Yeah.
nice. So let me show you a spot on the membership site where you could post that book too and let people know about it. So but I scrolled down to the study and reading group section, and then there's recommended reading.
And I've been there.
Yeah, it's
That could
great.
be a nice place for me because I love books.
Me too.
I
Then
just one that Ivy recommended on there, so I just got it this week.
which one was that?
Prayer of the Heart.
Oh
And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Ivy recommended that book for me too, and that book has helped me so much answer a lot of questions because I find I get a lot of questions from Christians and trying to reconcile yoga and Christianity, and so that book helps a lot with that.
yeah. And I also heard about The Way of the Happy Woman
Yes,
through the group, and I have that
favorite
too.
book.
So I have a stack of books here.
Have you started that book yet?
I have not. I
Yeah.
have not.
That book is great because you can jump in any time because it's seasonal.
Right. Yeah.
So, whatever season you decide to start it, you can jump if you start it in the summer or if you wait till the fall, you can jump ahead to whatever season you're in.
Yeah. I've kind of flipped through it, and I'm really excited. So,
That is probably one of my all-time favorite books. I'm so glad we read it in our membership site. And yeah, I go back to it often. Yeah, but you can post a new thread here and let people know about that book. I'm sure they would love to hear about it.
yeah, it's a different way of looking at weight loss. And basically he's saying, start a yoga practice. And when your yoga practice makes you peaceful and then you feel so good, you naturally will choose to eat healthier.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So, let me see. Your internet's slow again. Okay, that's okay. Um, Let me see. I would love to know a little bit more about you, and you mentioned a little bit about where you live in a small town and things like that. So why don't you tell us about that?
Okay, I live in Northwest Indiana. We live about a little more than 50 miles south of Lake Michigan. It's an extremely small rural town that does not even have a stoplight. One red flashing light. I think there's like 1,700 people in our town. Um, so there's not much, but actually we don't even have a grocery store at this moment. Our grocery store closed and we're hoping someone buys it.
Wow, that is small.
So, because otherwise we have like 19 miles to drive to get to a grocery store. So, we've lived here about 23 years, and we moved from the small city north of us. Um, let's see, what else? We're kind of simple. We just like to go like up to the lake, to the dunes, National Lake Shore,
Beautiful.
and hike. It's really an amazing place because you just like hike up the dune. So on one side you're looking at the beach and the lake, and you turn around and it's a heavily wooded area. And it's just so amazing that it could be so completely different.
That's
from one side
gorgeous.
to the other. It's beautiful. It's our favorite place to be. I sometimes go there alone and just take books with me or my Bible and my journal and just like hike up on top of a dune and sit up there and study. Um, my
That's
husband
awesome.
suggested I could go up there and do yoga. I haven't tried that yet, but that would be a beautiful spot.
Yeah, beautiful. Um, and tell us about some of the things that you're passionate about outside of yoga.
Um, well, I go to a ladies' Bible study. I really love that. I love to sew and embroider, and I have a small mission that I started after I had breast cancer. I was given a gift of it's called a post-mastectomy comfort pillow. That was just such a blessing to me, and so I've started making them myself. And as I hear I just believe God brings these people to me that I'll hear someone having breast cancer and I give them as gifts. So I'm very passionate about that.
That's
It's
beautiful.
very, very healing for me to be able to do that. And to sometimes there's nothing we can really do to help somebody in a crisis like that. And to be able to give them some form of comfort is really a wonderful thing.
It's
Of
beautiful.
course, my son is a huge passion of
Hmm.
mine. He's our miracle baby. We went through 3.5 years of infertility treatments to have him. So, I he's away. This was his first year away to college. He did community college for a couple of years. So this was a huge year of change
Yeah.
and being empty nesters. So, um,
What's he taking at college?
he's pre-law. He'll be a legal assistant and then decide if he wants to go on to law school.
Hmm.
So,
And how was his year away? I know you're always excited when he comes home to visit.
yeah, it was good. He really loves it. He got very involved in the college community and in his dorm. And this next fall, he's got a job on the dorm. So,
Nice.
yeah, he
Good.
loved it. So, I'm so happy for him and very proud of him.
That's great. So sweet. Yeah, I just love how close knit you are with your husband and your son. It's really beautiful.
So another passion of mine is I love to read. I love to read just about like a holistic way of living. That's usually what I'm drawn to. Just learning how to take better care of myself. I have two cancers. I had breast cancer, which it's gone now, but I also have lymphoma, which
Hmm.
it's not a curable cancer, but it's a very slow growing one, so it's kind of like a chronic disease that it's a cancer you live with. So I'm always reading on how I take a holistic approach to my diseases. And I've been very blessed to have doctors who think that way too. So,
Yeah, you are blessed.
yeah, it's
Definitely.
to go to my doctor and have a handwritten note from him that has like a recipe on it,
Wow.
supplement to take, and meditation. I don't have
Wow.
his recommendations, so that's something else I'm very passionate about.
That's
So
fantastic.
there's a place for medication, obviously, and for treatments,
I agree. I
but
agree
naturally,
wholeheartedly on that one. And I'm so grateful we live at a time where we do have access to medications.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I think we can have the best of both worlds for sure.
We definitely can, and they can enhance each other.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, so that is fantastic, and it's so great to hear about doctors that are open and willing to work in both realms. I know my migraine doctor in Toronto was like that too. He'd have on one sheet I'd have a list of supplements I was supposed to take, and on the other would be the prescription you'd take to the pharmacy.
Absolutely, and I've been blessed because my oncologist is that way, my family doctor, and my surgeon, and I can't even say that I sought them out for that. That's who God brought to me, and that's the way they are. So
I think intention is huge, and also where we put our action with intention is too. So, you say your passion is to live this holistic lifestyle, and so, I see your commitment to that day in and day out as well. And so, of course, you are directed to the right people.
right,
Yeah. Well, I'm really a little sad I can't see your face here to close out.
Oh,
It's been a little slow internet day, but I'm really grateful that we were able to speak with you and that people were able to share in your wisdom and your beautiful life, and you're such a beautiful, gentle soul. I'm really glad that we got to speak to you today. So I would love for people to connect with you and to leave you comments on your interview and to ask you questions if there are any questions that you have. I know there are we have several other people in our membership site that are cancer survivors or that are living through breast cancer as well right now, so I'm sure they may have questions for you and other comments that they would want to interact with you on that one for sure. And I also know we have several people in our membership community that are Christians as well, and so they may have questions and comments for you in that respect as well. So definitely ask Jani that. Jani, is there anything that you would like to engage with people or have them ask you about? Or have a conversation about?
Well, I'm open to whatever anybody wants to talk about.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
I did also want to mention one more thing before.
Yes.
I love your lectures too. And it's wonderful because I'll listen to them while I'm cleaning house or while I'm walking on the treadmill. So those are a huge blessing. I actually have a notebook, a Melissa West notebook journal that I take notes in because my memory is really bad and I can forget things. So I can write it down and highlight it, and then I can refer back to it. So
yeah, those are great, and they're a little bit scattered throughout. I could probably gather them up a little bit more. There is a lecture section, but then there are some series that have lectures in them too.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite lecture before we close out?
Probably the one about setting intentions.
Yeah, that was I was really big on. I mean, I still am, but maybe I'm like a fish in water now. I don't talk about it as much anymore. But so that was in the short video section. And if you go to the Sunkalp section, setting intention for 2013. Then that was the cautions and questions on Friday. It's a lecture, and what I did was I asked people to ask me all the questions that they had about it, and then I also was reading through people's comments that they had about Sankalpa, about setting intention, and it was a little bit of I just kind of sat in that chair and I went through my notes on it and I answered people's questions, and it's a good little lecture there. And they're not usually too long because they're speaking and I've got notes. I go through it fairly quickly. Yeah, so
there's another one too, and I just can't think of it off the top of my head. Oh.
There's one that's been visited fairly frequently recently because I put it in the weekly challenge last week, which was the one on insomnia. That's in the insomnia series.
There was one, I think it was related, was there one related to healthy eating?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't remember the name, but that one definitely. Yeah.
So, I'm forgetting where. So in the workshop section, I think that's where it is. So now, because I moved things around, I can't find stuff. Okay. And the workshop section on mindful eating.
Was it maybe in the spring retreat?
There's a lecture in there too. I think you're right. There's a lecture here at the beginning of the mindful eating workshop, which is really cool
Okay,
too.
that's probably it. That is it. Yeah.
That is it? Yeah.
Yes.
This was one of the first things that I did in the membership site, actually, was this, because everybody wants to know about weight loss, and this is the way that this is the slant I took on it, was mindful eating at the beginning.
Yeah, that was excellent. I think I've listened to it 3 times. So
Yeah, it's really great, for sure. And there's a little meditation in there, and there's a whole class, like in the style that we're doing right now on the Inner Critic series, where you do the pose and there's reflective questioning, that, like a class where you're going to want to have your journal with you beside. Yeah.
Pause a lot.
Yeah, press the pause button right in your journal. Yeah, for sure. Okay, yeah, there you go. You got some little extra bonuses at the end, right when you thought we were finishing out.
Just glanced down at my notes because that was a big one too for me.
The lectures, yeah. Thanks. Yeah, because I think people think about the yoga classes, but there is just so much more here. So thanks
It's
for
so
being
rich. Yeah, there is so much there beyond just poses.
Yeah. Okay, Jenny, thank you so much. I'm going to let you get back to your darling husband now.
Okay, well, thank you very much for asking me.
I appreciate it, and I look forward to a rich discussion afterwards and everybody's comments.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right.
Have a wonderful
Thanks.
day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.